Questions for Coach Clifford. First question, Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Cliff, when talking to some of the young guys like Chuma Okeke, they talk about how much they took away from Vooch, both on and off the court. When you have a guy like that, how much does his legacy carry on even after he's left the team?
Oh, I think he's the kind of guy that has a lasting impression on guys he played with, and especially the younger guys. And I would say a guy like Chuma for sure, who's such a serious player. Vooch was, he's a true professional, committed player, and he had a routine every day. One of the first guys there. He did a ton in the weight room. He did his stuff on the court, practice, and then he would do more on the court. And all of those guys saw that. So I think, he, besides of what he did, for us, obviously, once the game started, he's definitely a role model for all those guys.
Josh Robbins, The Athletic.
Steve, this won't be the first time that you've coached against a player you were fond of and respect. Still, what will this be like for you in this particular case?
Yeah, difficult for sure. I mean, he just came in and we had a chance to talk for a few minutes, and he's getting comfortable here. I think it'll be a great place for him, and he's very upbeat, very excited about his teammates. Really likes them, loves Billy, who I think will be a great coach for him. So I'm happy for him. You always want best for guys, but obviously I have a relationship with him that's, not always common in this league, and certainly not tonight, but I'll always be cheering for him.
Charles Swirsky, Chicago Radio.
Coach, how you doing? Hope you're well. Two questions. Number one, coaching Wendell Carter Jr., what have you learned about him since the acquisition?
I'm super excited, Chuck, about everything, his approach. We've been able to change things up. Vooch could do that too, but I think younger players in today's NBA, it's very difficult, in my opinion, to just have one pick and roll coverage. And he has the ability within the course of a game on certain possessions, you can be more aggressive. He can play back in a drop. Very good laterally, very good with his hands, but super bright, and he's picked things up very quickly. And, we're playing through him more and more, the more I'm around him. We've been using him at the elbow. We're starting to put him in the post more, but really just very excited about how he's playing and the player that he can become.
And just to follow up, Coach, because you're so well respected in this league, and at the trade deadline, you not only made one, you made three major trades. So are you coaching on the fly right now, or how do you put this thing together when you're dealing with injuries, major trades, and you're just thinking about, obviously, for 21-22?
Yeah, not well so far. I mean, to be honest with you, we're not organized enough, and you can't play like that in this league. And it's also hard, particularly for the younger players, to play well when you don't have enough structure in at either end of the floor. So it's definitely a challenge. I think our guys have been great. But, we just, we did a ton this morning, but coming off a back-to-back, so we didn't practice yesterday. So the condensed schedule and then the newness that we have each other is the challenge. And, I think we can make strides. And we all know we have to play better than we did over the weekend.
Roy Perry, Orlando Sentinel.
Steve, we saw that Mo will not play tonight. Just wondering, what are you hearing about the severity of that injury and maybe how long he might be out or might not be out?
Yeah, he tried hard, Roy. I mean, he went over early this morning with Mike and Nathan and, tried to get more loose. He's just tight, and you could see it in the game the other night. So I think we're comfortable that he's not far away. But again, it's one of those lingering injuries. It's on his hip, almost like a hip pointer. It's super tender, but he doesn't have mobility right now. And that's the problem, where he can't run up and down the floor. It's hard for him to slide. So I think, we're all hopeful that by Friday in Tampa, he'll be able to play. And I do think he was better today, but not ready to play.
Back to Dan Savage.
If we saw the team signed Dante Hall to a 10-day contract, what were some of the elements that stood out about him that made the team decide to add him to the roster?
Well, I think obviously, he's got a defensive component. If you go back to his college career, he was a 2-time all-conference first-team defensive player. He's played, well in the G League, and he has experience in NBA games. So I would rate his strength as more of a, defender, basket protector. But watching him working out with Mike, it's not, he has some skills also. And, he's going to get a good chance to play tonight. He's been with us here one day, but he did some stuff yesterday with the assistant coaches. And, we're going to throw him in there and he can just kind of learn on the fly.
Casey Johnson, NBC Sports Chicago.
Hi, Steve. Having covered Wendell from draft day to trade day, one thing that he was always really open with us about was he takes things so hard and so deeply. He gets in his own head sometimes, and he sometimes has trouble moving from one possession to the next, kind of letting go of that last possession. Have you seen any examples of that, or have you had a conversation with him about that dynamic in your time with him?
So, I'm glad you told me that, because I do see that in him. I think he's very difficult, very hard on himself. The way I'm doing it with all of those guys is talk to him initially. I've already had one meeting with Mike Batista, work with him. We set up 3 things on offense, 3 things on defense for the remainder of the year. We're going to meet again after this stretch of games. And I think that as you watch, sit and watch, you learn more and more as you go along. I think the thing you can't do, or this is just my opinion, the way I do it, is you have to be careful how much you coach before you really see things. So, like you saying that is helpful, and things that I can do. Yeah, to me, with the NBA players, I don't care how old they are. If you want to get the right relationship with them, you coach the things that you're confident that can help them play, not because you see it once or, watch one game and see this. So for sure, the old adage is, you never know a guy until you coach him. And I believe that. And I have been super happy with him. He's a worker. He picks things up quickly, but he can really move defensively. And there's just things in this league, in my opinion, again, you can't have one coverage anymore. Can't. Guys, the good teams have too much skill on the floor. And if you have an inside player like him, who's both smart, he can pick things up quickly, and you can change coverages within the course of a game, it's a game changer. And I very much see that in him.
Thanks, Steve.
Dan Savage.
Cliff, we saw Chuma was questionable. How's he faring? And if he's able to go, how will you start tonight?
Yeah, he's going to start. Again, he's not 100%, but he wants to play, and Lindsey's comfortable. We're not going to play him like crazy minutes. I'm going to do like the other night where we get him in and out, which hurts us. But, again, if he can just play some minutes, it gives us, again, guys playing in positions they've practiced in, so it will help. We're going to start a little bit different because Gary Harris will play tonight. So we'll start MCW, Gary, James, Chuma, and Wendell. And then, Dwayne, RJ, Cole, T. Ross, Dante, those guys will play off the bench. And, we're going to have to mix and match a little bit. But, I mean, you know what? Our guys are kind of used to that too now, to be honest with you.
All right. Thank you for your time, Coach. Appreciate it.